I don't have time for this bullshit.
Ha! Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. All this guy ever does is BS. Anyway, it's time for another edition of BSing with Big Nate.
Welcome into another edition of BSing with Big Nate. This one's kind of special. I mean, they're all kind of special in their own way, but I'm excited. I'm joined once again by Emma and Mitchell. And first of all, this is the first time I've had you both on at the same time. I've had you on respectively for your own independent thing, but you guys are talking about something very, very cool going on tomorrow. It's the second annual Folk Farm Fest. So I want to get some. What's that?
2 days from now.
Well, yeah, but this is airing Friday.
Oh, got you. Right. Saturday. Yeah.
And
tomorrow.
All of the festivities kicking off tomorrow, and I want to get straight from you guys exactly what is the Folk Farm Fest?
So the Folk Farm Fest was created last year, although kind of prototypes of it existed the first year of the Folk Farm, which was 2018. The Folk Farm was founded and established in 2018. That was our first year of hosting shows. It was kind of loose in its form. Then I didn't really know what it was going to be or what it was becoming. I just knew that I wanted to host house concerts at my place, and I had a good space to do so. And the first few shows were really successful and encouraging, and they made me want to do more. So I think the first big event that we hosted of its kind was called Septoberfest in the fall of 2018. And then the following year, I think we weren't able to do anything because of COVID. And then last year, there was a lull in, I don't know, my timeline might be messed up, but last year there was a lull in COVID when things were getting better before the Delta 8 variant came back. And we had an opportunity, and I thought about it for a long time, and we discussed kind of the risks versus rewards and whether it was a safe and socially responsible thing to do. And we figured that it was that, it was a big outdoor space. People could stick to their pods and have as much space as they feel comfortable with. And there were sanitation stations, and people were wearing masks if they wanted to, but weren't required to. And we had about 200 people come through. It was a huge success. We had over 10 bands. I would say about 70% local Richmond acts, and then 30% regional and out of state acts. And this year is similar. So last year was our first annual Folk Farm Fest, and now the Folk Farm Fest has come to punctuate each season and serve as our end of the year celebration to celebrate another successful year down and bring in a good harvest and a good plentiful autumn.
I like that, with kind of everything blending together, particularly in these last 2 years. I kind of like that demarcation, that point to, this is what we have to look forward to, and it kind of celebrates everything that has been and is going to come. I want to ask about the lineup, because I do see some acts that I'm quite familiar with, particularly Mitchell, Evan, and the Mayhem. Em and me, I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. Is that you and Emma?
It is, yeah. And actually, unfortunately, Mitchell, Evan, and the Mayhem will not be making an appearance at the Folk Farm Fest. Yeah, I have failed to communicate with my band, apparently, and they're like, "What do you mean we're playing on Saturday?" And I was like, I don't know. I just assumed that they figured that we were gonna, headline my event, but I don't know if that was ever the plan. But it's kind of for the best, because we have like a dozen acts that we have to get through between 1 p.m. and 11 p.m. So it's probably best to not make it about us and just play one set. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do about a 50-minute Em and me set.
Awesome. I mean, that's a lot to look forward to. I like something I like a lot about first of all, your whole attitude and demeanor, but particularly the way you're handling this is you're not trying to force growth. I've seen particularly here recently festivals that like have kind of just for whatever reason gotten a little too big too fast, and then it's become like an infrastructure nightmare. Whereas it seems like you're handling this from a very kind of mature and responsible point of view. You want to put that focus on arts and the music, but you also want to consider all of the factors. Now, is this something, kind of obviously this is the second annual and you've been working on this since 2018. Prior to that, had you had any experience, planning events like this?
I didn't, no, not any farther than like booking my own shows and like making lineups for those, but like I hadn't done anything like this.
I had a few events that informed this one and were kind of prototypes of this one, and that I think I probably wouldn't have been able to do this without at least done it in the professional and effective manner that we were able to without this previous experience. And they were of different forms. So when I was living in Colorado, I started an event called Down in the Round, and that was are you familiar with the in the round format?
Yeah.
You have like it I think it came out of Nashville, and it was a way, I think, historically for songwriters to just showcase their songs, and especially ghostwriters, like the people who had written the songs but weren't the country pop stars performing the ones. So they would have these industry kind of shindigs where the people who actually wrote the songs would get on stage, and the four of them would go song, I would play a song, Emma would play a song, you'd play a song, and then circle back around. And you tell stories in between, and everyone would play a handful of songs. So I noticed there was a lack of that in the Boulder, Denver songwriter community. I didn't really see any events of in the round format. And I had access, my girlfriend at the time, her parents owned a lovely art gallery in downtown Louisville, which is a suburb outside of Boulder. And so I started a monthly in the round event down there that went on for over a year. And we had over 10 events. We probably took a few months off and brought in, each event would there be 3 or 4 songwriters, sometimes including myself, sometimes not including myself. So throughout that year, we cycled, 20 plus artists. And that connected me with a lot of people. And I think the thing that I really took away from that experience and brought to the Folk Farm is this spirit of, if the spirit of like, if I can't get access to these certain circles or groups or scenes, and I can't go to people, maybe I can bring people to me. And so it's there's that kind of selfish motive as well, that I want to be in it. And I don't know if it's truly selfish, but it's that I want to be connected with more artists, more creative people, and maybe people that I kind of, admire from afar that are kind of on the next rung up, if you will. And I was able to do that in Colorado. I was able to bring in people that I wasn't able to, for example, get on a bill opening up for them, Yeah. So my event became more popular than my name myself. And I was like totally okay with that. And I also like became comfortable with addressing the room and hosting an event. To be a host means that you have to be a present personality in the room that is directing and guiding the event. I'm not there to micromanage or control, but I'm there to steer it and direct the attention back if we get off track, to calm people down if they're being disrespectful. And to make sure that we're achieving what we're there to do, which is share songs and stories and connect with people.
I mean, that's incredibly well stated. I think that that's an important mindset to have. Again, another thing that just here in recent memory, a couple of festivals, it's the same where the promoter, their name gets latched onto it and then becomes bigger, and it loses focus. Whereas it seems like you kind of have that directive that dude, this is about the music. This is about what we're doing, coming together as a community. And I think anyone who goes is going to absolutely have a blast. Now, food consumption is something that's important to me at the festival. So, what is there to eat?
There'll be a food truck this time around. We'll have another round, Bar and Grill, bringing their food truck. I think they're making chili and lots of different types of chili and baked potatoes and all that kind of nice warm food for fall time. So that's what will be there.
I was say that's what made me realize that like fall was really truly here. Is the other night I was standing in the grocery store and I was like, you know what? We're having chili and apple cider for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's nothing that encompasses the fall to me more than chili and a warm cup of apple cider.
And pumpkin, squash. Are we gonna have veggie chili? Oh man, veggie chili is so good, y'all.
Yep.
So good.
It depends on how it's made. My mom used to always make really good veggie
Well,
chili.
last year at the Folk Farm Fest, we had a banging veggie chili. We had like a huge cauldron of it. It was so good. Emma made it.
I mean, there's something
Might be a-
to be
we'll
said.
have a meat one and a veggie one.
Cooking over a cauldron. That's peak October or September, I guess. So the other thing I want to ask is because I mean, you guys are both fairly young. I'm assuming probably around my age. Now, taking on something like this and kind of organizing, is there a lot of anxiety to it, or is it just roll with the punches? Kind of, we go with the waves.
Yeah. For me, like our smaller shows, which we have like once a month, which has like 2 to 3 bands on it. Those I don't have a lot of anxiety around anymore.
Usually 2.
They kind of just they're in a groove now. They just like go, they flow. I don't have to do too much. It's gotten enough of a following that like people show up regardless of what I do. But this event, yeah, because it's bigger and there's more people and there's more bands, and I just want to make sure that everybody's happy. And so I definitely feel like a lot more stress and pressure around it, but I also have the mindset that like it is what it is. Everything's just, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the stakes are a little bit higher with this event, but I will say the first couple of years there was an immense amount of anxiety for all of the events for me, because like in the very beginning there was no assurance that there was going to be a crowd, anybody at all, and I had to really hustle super hard. I was like sending personal text messages to like dozens of people in my phone, and the whole first season I was running sound, I was booking, promoting, organizing, hosting, emceeing, performing at most of them.
Yeah.
And everything. So like I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It was, like I was proud of the events, but I wasn't able to enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what they say, like with weddings, you don't really get to eat or like actually enjoy your wedding day.
Yeah, right. And yeah, it's the same way. So bringing Emma on has been the biggest game changer for me, because she's done more work around the Folk Farm than I have this year, for sure. She booked almost all of the acts for Folk Farm Fest. I brought in a couple of them, and I brought in a couple shows this year, and the rest were her pretty much booking, and we kind of tag team promotion. Like I do the bare minimum for each event, which is send out my newsletter to my mailing list. So there's only like 100 people in Virginia on it, and even fewer on the Folk Farm list. So I send that out for all of our events, and we make social media posts and stuff, but build it and they will come. Like it's taken a few years, but they do come, and I don't have to worry. I don't have anxiety about it anymore. And it's also like, if I'm gonna, bake in the ethos of the Folk Farm and what it's about to how I approach the anxiety about an event or my expectations, is that this is not a Mitchel Evan event. This is not an Emma Garrell event. It's not for me. It's not, it's a community endeavor. and it takes a village, and therefore the promotion is not solely my responsibility either. It's that of the bands, that of our community of fans and patrons who already exist, and that of those yet to come. We're all in it together, and so if it's a success or a failure, I don't have to take all of that on either way.
I mean, yeah, and that's important to note. It is a group of people, a team of people, if you will, working towards a common goal. A lot to look forward to. Everyone out there in watching, enjoying, listening, follow the Folk Farm on Facebook, Mitchell, Evan, Emma, Garrell, and also sign up for their mailing list. There's actually a link on the Folk Farm Facebook page, and keep apprised as to everything coming up at the Folk Farm. Of course, Folk Farm Fest tomorrow, 1 p.m. The fun starts. Guys, thank you so much for joining me, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add? Can you give them our tag on social media? What it is?
It's just the Folk Farm on Facebook, and then on Instagram it's the Folk Farm Music.
But it's at the _. No?
No.
It's just at
Just
the Folk Farm?
type in.
Okay, she's right. I'm wrong. There's a lot. I just want to give a shout out to some of our artists before we go. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so at the Folk Farm Fest 2021 this year, we have Blackfellow, Billy Bocce, Sam C. Jones from Nova, DC area. Is Matt Plus playing? No. Cassie Snyder and the Wranglers, Mink's Miracle Medicine, Feather Pocket from Charlotte, Silver Tongue Devils, Sincerely Iris from right here in Richmond, Em and Me, and that might be it. Oh, and Saul Black from here in Richmond as well.
That's a lot to look forward to. Everyone get on out there and enjoy some music. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.